Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Kennedy. I am a hair color educator for Aveda. I am located in Kelowna, BC, based out of New Image Hair Salon, and I'm so excited to be here with you today to go over the Alchemy of hair color, the blonde edition. So living in a beach town, we work on a lot of blondes in our salon, so I'm really excited and passionate about everything that we're going to be going over today. So let's get right into it. So far in this class, we've gone over consultation, gaining agreement with our guest about their desired goal. So we know where we want to go. Now let's talk about how we're going to get there. So take a moment to yourself and think about the different ways that we can create blonde results behind the chair. So the first way is maybe with our hair color. So we've got our full spectrum permanent, our full spectrum permanent deep, as well as our ELC, our extra lifting cream. What's another way that we can create blonde results behind the chair? Well, we could use my personal favorite, which is our Enlightener Powder Lightener. So let's talk about some of the different tones and results that we might see in our salons. So hopefully you can see these images okay on your screen. On the left-hand side, we have a girl that has more of a icy, very bright, platinum-colored hair. On the right-hand side, we're seeing more warmth, maybe more of that beigey, neutral tones. If you had a guest that brought in the image on the left, more of that icy, cool tone, what product would you grab to do her service? Would you go for your hair color, or would you grab your Enlightener Powder Lightener? Yeah, you'd probably grab your Enlightener. That's usually my go-to if a guest were to show me an image like that. What about the image on the right-hand side, that more beigey, neutral, more of that warmth? It's not quite as bright. Could we achieve that using hair color? Possibly, yeah, absolutely. So here we have two models that are both around a level 9 or 10, but they have very different results, and that could be based on the tone that was used or maybe the product selection, Enlightener versus our hair color. So when we have a guest that comes in and they're wanting something cooler toned, even if it was something darker, maybe a level 6, and they wanted something really ashy or maybe more of that mushroom brown, we always need to grab our Enlightener Powder Lightener if we want a true ash result. If our guest is okay with something more neutral, more beige, maybe they like seeing that warmth in the hair, absolutely you could grab your hair color. But we always want to start with grabbing our Enlightener as our first step to creating a true ash result. So to explain this further, we'll look into our color theory. So whenever we're lightening the hair with hair color, the NRP, the natural remaining pigment, never leaves the hair. The only product we have that is able to lift most of that natural remaining pigment out of the hair is our Enlightener. So our color theory chart is always a really great resource to have on hand. It's important to note here that there are two different color theory charts in the Alchemy of hair color. So there's a color theory chart when we're using hair color, and then a color theory chart when we're using Enlightener. So this class is all about blonding. So this chart here is our natural remaining pigment chart. So the pigment or tone that's exposed when we're lifting the hair with Enlightener. So levels 1 through 5, we're going to expose that red. Level 6, red-orange. Level 7, we're seeing that orange. Level 8, yellow-orange. And then when we get to that level 9, we're seeing yellow, and 10, that pale yellow. So in order to fully understand how natural remaining pigment plays into our final result, why we need to remove that from the hair, we need to talk first about melanin. So there's 3 types of melanin. We've got our eumelanin. This is our darker melanin that we're going to see in like levels 1N, 5N, those darker browns. We've got pheomelanin. We're going to see a lot of orange in pheomelanin. So our strawberry clients, our redheads, it's lighter, so maybe some of our blonde clients as well. And then we have our mixed melanin. So melanin never goes away with hair color. Hair color can shift it ever so slightly, and we're able to deposit on top of that, but we can't ever fully lift out all of the melanin in the hair without using our enlightener powdered lightener. Hair color was only designed to create a neutral or warm tone at best. So if we want a true cool or ashy result, we need to lift all of that melanin out of the hair. So we want to lift our guest's hair to that pale yellow, so ideally at a level 9 or a level 10, and then deposit the tone that we're wanting to see. If we go back to our color theory chart, if we were to lift the guest's hair to an orange, so a level 7, and then deposit our ashy tone over top, that natural remaining pigment, also that orange, is going to play a part in our final result, our final formula. So we want to lift all of that out till we get to that pale yellow or yellow, so a 9, ideally a 10, so that we can get a true result. So the natural color of protein in the hair is yellow. So when we lift it to that, we've got a lot more space to work with and a lot more options for our guest's hair. So now let's talk about a couple of the golden rules of blonding. So to avoid brassy, overly warm blondes, lift to a level 9 or higher. We've all had this before behind the chair where we have a guest that comes back in and their hair never stays ashy enough. So we need to ask ourselves, did we lift their hair properly? Did we lift them high enough? Or did we still have some of that orange in the hair? Keep in mind, if we're seeing orange in the hair, that's that pheomelanin. So we want to make sure that we remove that melanin from the hair. Oftentimes too, something I hear from some of the stylists in our salon is their formula is never ashy enough. They can't do enough with our demi-plus line. But maybe they didn't lift high enough. So we really want to lift our guests to that proper level where we're seeing that beautiful pale yellow so that we can then deposit the correct tone over top. And then the second golden rule of blonding, pick the right products for the right job. So going back to that hair color versus enlightener, chatting with their guest, what kind of result are they wanting to see? And then using that to our advantage. So in today's class, we've gone over some of the different blonde results that we can get, blonde results with hair color versus blonde results with enlightener, the different ways that that can show up in the hair. We've talked about how to create a true ash, what that looks like. And we've also talked about how melanin plays a really big part in that process. So we'll take a little break and we'll go into talking more about our enlightener powder lightener. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great day.